Hello everyone and welcome to this week's episode of the Unfiltered Wrestling Podcast. As by everyone, joined by Tim. Hi Tim, how you doing, mate?
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. We've had quite a busy week in WWE this week. It's been quite predictable, but still shocking when it happens. And that filters right back to Monday. Obviously, you've done a Raw Ramblings, but AJ come out and gave her promo, and then we did finally get the match set up for Wrestling Palooza.
Well, as I said last week, not the one we've just done the week before, I wondered whether they were edging on Rhea Ripley as it is. They've gone in the way in which we thought so. But Seth Rollins and Becky dressed as a Pokemon, if you know, you know. They did a really good promo. I think it's worked in the right way. I'm liking where this is going. This match could be one of the best matches on the card.
Then also, obviously, one thing that sort of come out of left field is most probably the heel turn of Mr. Jey Uso, or AKA to me, the Ultimate Warrior.
Stop it. Just stop it. Stop it. Stop it. No, on a serious note, I'm hoping it's not a heel turn for Jey Uso. But we go back to this whole conversation you and I have had that Raw just doesn't have enough heel characters. So I worry they're pushing this too hard, but he definitely got booed. Although when after Raw was finished, the Usos and Rhea Ripley were out celebrating with the crowd. So maybe this is just a storyline to set up Roman resetting Jey to the way he was.
Yeah, because obviously Jey's sort of been the crowd pleaser and he needs a little bit of an edge to him. And for Roman to have that conversation with him before he went off TV saying you need to be a bit more in it for yourself, and then Jey referencing Roman saying I'm doing what Roman would do, I think that just helps with an edge to his character. And I think he could still be a babyface with a bit of edginess, and that would deepen his character. So
yeah, I this is where you and I would definitely disagree. My worry is this will take the shine off his like massive pops that he gets. I think this will push him further back down the card to the mid-carders. And while I think he's a very good upper mid-card kind of a guy, I think if you push him too hard, like in this serious role, he's going to drop back down, and this is going to really affect him.
So that was Raw. And then we had a weird situation on Raw because obviously Stephanie Vasquez is
supposed to have a contract signing, and they announced that she wasn't available, which sent the internet into some sort of meltdown. Is this cursed? Is she injured? Well, no, because as she said, she turned up on NXT the next night, and she doesn't look like she's got any injury. So the big question is, what is she going to do as a result of Raw? I've said to you before, I think she's going to hold the title, but are WWE actually going to take their foot off the gas with her?
Yeah, and the fact that they've shown up on NXT to announce a 6-woman tag for Homecoming, why do you think they're pushing this for the NXT show?
This is a big show for NXT. Like, Homecoming will be absolutely the biggest, the best show they've had in quite a while. Yes, as you've announced, we've got Rhea Ripley, Stephanie Vasquez, and Tiffany Stratton versus Fatal Attraction and Josie J, the NXT Women's Championship. That will be a great match. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the headline for it. I think you're going to see a lot of stars, old and new, pop up. So this could be, I don't want to say a reset, but to help promote some of these stars. I think that's important to remember.
Yeah, and obviously the segment also got some attention online for a different reason. Mr. Booker T, with his lovely slip-ups, sounded like he was saying, I just need to pull my dick. He's adamant it was I just need to pull my neck. But yeah, if you watch the video, it is hard to differentiate between what he said. And that obviously probably brought some unwelcome attention to the promo. But it's Booker T. He's a legend, so he can get away with it.
To a certain extent, he can. You know, I would like to have this discussion later about something else. But yeah, that's a good point. I also want to mention that we're getting, for next week's show, Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes teaming up again, like they did a few years ago, just before the Carmelo Hayes heel turn, taking on DIY, the old school NXT taking on the newer school NXT. And as it was mentioned in the promo, both these teams have turned on each other multiple times. So who knows where it's going to go.
And do you think, obviously, putting this team together, I know, like you said, it's for Homecoming, which is a big NXT show, that's now sort of the end of the Miz and Carmelo Hayes? Or do you think it's a one-done thing for NXT?
I think this is a one and done thing. It's Homecoming. They're going to try and pop the crowd. They're going to try and get bigger ratings on the TV. Hell, it's just enough to say, and this is, you're hearing this first, I will be doing a Homecoming show later next week.
Yeah, so we'll see how all that plans out. We're really looking forward to that. And then that moved us on to what seemed like WWE annoyed the hell out of the fans Friday, because even though you reported on it on Thursday, we got the official announcement that WrestleMania 43 will be moving outside of America, and it's not London like everyone was sort of hoping and thinking about when we had the John Cena advocating for London, and we had Triple H pictured with the mayor of London. It is, of course, going to Saudi Arabia, where the money's at.
Yeah, absolutely. You knew it had to be a big thing. They shipped out The Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels. Morgan was in the background when they made this announcement. I think the biggest thing you can take from it is the boos that were in the crowd that the WWE attempted to silence.
Not just that as well, the faces on those superstars, they just looked like they didn't want to be there. Even Triple H, as he was announcing, I think the only time I see him smile was when he turned around to Turkey and a shake to say about this great relationship. But every time he was facing the camera, it's like that smile went. So, yeah, you could tell. I think Triple H is a purist and he's an old school guy, so I don't think he's actually happy that WrestleMania is moving out of America, and especially to Saudi Arabia. But as we know with TKO Nick Khan, he's the guy that makes the money deals. So what he says on that side of things goes.
Yeah, nobody's going to be able to match £100 million. Nobody's even close. I fear this could be the start of something which worries me more.
Yeah, 100%. Because obviously next year we've got 2 Royal Rumbles. We're going to have some form of crowd control. There's going to be a third PLE in Saudi Arabia of some sort, whatever they're going to name it. It might be Wrestling Palooza again, depending on how well this show goes. But we know there's going to be something. And then, of course, we've got WrestleMania the following year. So it does definitely look like that the Saudi partnership is not dying down soon. And I worry because, like we've spoken, the amount of money being chucked around the sport with Saudi Arabia, there's worry that we're going to have a WrestleMania 40 moment where obviously Cody finished his story, but they chucked everything at it. They chucked The Undertaker at it, they chucked John Cena at it, they chucked The Rock at it, and then they had to spend months undoing it because, like, The Rock faded away. The Undertaker, in a way, was never explained. I know he was there because of The Rock moment. And of course, okay, months later, we got John Cena again, but there were still moments where things had to be unpicked.
What we need to remember with The Undertaker is this guy's an absolute legend and should be, but he was only there because Stone Cold Steve Austin couldn't make it, right? We all wanted that moment. That would have been a stunner to The Rock to end that. That's the only reason The Undertaker's there. As for the rest, I'm with you. I'm very, very worried with the amount of money they're throwing at people. As you say, we're going to get people like The Rock back. You're going to convince The Undertaker to come out of retirement. Hell, you might even convince Shawn Michaels to come out of retirement. And those two, the The Undertaker can barely walk. He's having health issues almost on a monthly basis. I think that would be a very bad idea. And Shawn Michaels arguably says he should never have come out of retirement for the DX Brothers of Destruction match they had. That would be my biggest worry, is if we have to do things like that. You could possibly build to a Stone Cold Steve Austin CM Punk match. It's been hinted at before, but you'd have to throw some serious money at Austin, and you'd have to be prepared to do a good build.
I know, like, Austin looks in good shape, but as the years go on, is his body up to it as well? And obviously, I've always said I feel like Punk's only got a couple of years left in him. So, is it going to be at the wrong time if it does happen?
What you could say, though, if you're insistent on having The Rock, it might be the last final time to do the Rock Roman Reigns match that we've all been talking about for the last couple of years.
Yeah, no, that's a good shout. And obviously, Roman would be able to carry The Rock through that match. And obviously, with The Rock's presence and the way he can work the crowd, I think you could get a decent match out of them, even though The Rock's getting on a bit. So I think that's a very good shout. And I think that's the only thing to do if you're going to bring The Rock in.
Yeah, I'm with you. Or you put him in a tag match, like you hide the fact that, I mean, if we've looked at some of the pictures of him lately, he's lost a lot of muscle and a lot of weight. To me, he doesn't look very well, but that might be him preparing for his next role, which again, I wish him all the best. But it's not the Rock that we've seen for like the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, he has said it is for his next role, but to then have to try and put all that muscle back on is not good for the body. So I don't think I think it will make him a shell of a man no matter what, even if he does try to put the weight back on after the movie, that we're not going to get the same Rock we had, like he's just said.
No, I'm with you.
And then another moment that we knew was going to annoy everyone was obviously we knew Brock Lesnar was going to be at SmackDown. And I think WWE probably knew they had annoyed everyone a couple of hours before with the Saudi announcement. And I think they knew they were going to annoy people with Brock. So the way to counteract it, they brought out a fan favourite to do a little comedy sort of sketch with Brock. And that was putting out R-Truth, Ron Killings, or Ron Cena, whatever name he's going by now.
So I'm with you right up until you hear the pop of the crowd as he walks out, right? He comes out and the crowd goes mad when his music kicks in. And again, we're back to this SummerSlam moment where everybody went, wow, Brock's back. And then it took a few seconds and people went, oh no, Brock's back. I found this promo, with the exception of the two comical moments, because there is the other moment as well as Ron Killings that I'll come on to in a second. I found this promo completely pointless. He's looking for John Cena. Well, Cena said last week this was his last SmackDown. There is absolutely no reason for Brock to be on SmackDown. So I don't understand this.
That is a very good point. So, yeah, it was a pointless. I think it was obviously just to get Brock on TV to remind you he's facing John in a week's time.
Yeah, and he sounded really awkward with his promo with R-Truth. Yes, the comment of the older brother and his childhood hero was brilliant, and that he did really try his best to crack Brock when Brock says, "You're the brother from another mother." He went, no, we've both got the same dads, and I love that because you could see Brock trying to hold it, but the F5 to then split his trousers, which Brock found hilarious. I don't know what you can say.
Yeah, and another thing as well, you're trying to build to a serious match that is putting John Cena's retirement tour in jeopardy, and then you've got Brock shaking his bum to the camera because he split his trousers. and he's been in a comical segment. And I know it's R-Truth, and you know how much I love R-Truth, so I will watch anything R-Truth's in. But this is meant to be a serious Jeopardy match. This could like end John Cena's retirement tour early, and then a week before you're putting the Beast in a comical moment. It just sort of dilutes the match for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think they attempted to pass the ball and they dropped it so badly. It was unreal. Um, but again, look, Brock showed his human side, which was if he's coming back for more dates, WWE probably needed. But again, I think they've got to be careful with him.
And then obviously we had sort of first week of Sammy's Open United States Championship reign. I know John Cena was last week, but that was more for John than it was for Sammy. And Ray Phoenix answered the call. What a match this was, weren't it, Tim?
Oh my word. Such good counters, so many flips, such great psychology. Like, if you've got, I want to say about 14, 15 minutes today, find this match, right? This is brilliant. And I think even after the result, because Sammy obviously picked up the victory, and he, as he should do for this challenge for a little while, it was the right thing to do. But Ray Phoenix didn't look weak as a result of it. You think to yourself, Ray Phoenix has disappeared with the news that we announced yesterday about Andrade. This is something different, and I think this works. Give Ray Phoenix something to do up until, as I said, and they've got to do it at some point soon. They reformed the Lucha Brothers. It was, yeah, as I said, best match.
And then we had proof of our sort of weak, not weak is the wrong word, sort of how WWE are forgetting about their women's championship, because it just seems like the women were on fire a couple of months ago, and now we've just got three contenders. So obviously we had the Jade Cargill, Tiffany Stratton SummerSlam rematch, which ended in a count out, which then brought Nia Jax into a tag team. It's just such a weird match, weird ending, weird whatever we're going forward with.
Yeah, so I think the match had three parts to it. The first part, both women, I sat and watched the match and thought, these two do not gel very well. I don't know why they put them in a program. There appeared to be quite a lot of miscommunication. It didn't flow so well. And then all of a sudden, they clicked. And the second part of the match was just phenomenal. It looked brilliant. It looked like they'd had the chemistry that was there. They did such a great job. And it looked wonderful. And then the third part came up and we had the count out. And I audibly groaned after watching it and went, oh, really? Come on, WWE, can't we have a proper winner? And Nia comes out. And I'm with you. WWE need to fix this. The women's title picture is three women. It's Tiffany, it's Jade, and it's Nia. And it's who it's been for the longest time ever. Now, I think that's really disappointing because we've got a lot of able women on SmackDown who should be elevated higher than they are. And it appears we just cannot get past these three. I imagine we're probably setting up to a triple threat.
Yeah, and hopefully once the triple threat's done and dusted, then they can move on and start elevating. Talking about the women and problems, we had another issue with a women's match in the night, and that was between...
Yeah, that was Julia versus BFAB and Kiana James, who's doing this management gig. I don't fully get it. I think it's a waste of their talent. But their match didn't start, and Meechin come out for the save. So again, what we're having with the WWE Women's Championship is almost happening again with the US title, because it's Meechin again stuck in the middle of this. Now, I like Meechin. I think she's phenomenal, but either give her the belt or move her away. this is my concern.
Yeah, no, totally agree with you. It's like they're still undecided. But a duo that did surprise you on SmackDown was Chelsea Green and The Miz. What a great interaction.
I love their interaction. Firstly, Chelsea Green has got to be one of my favourites to watch on television because whenever she's there, she gives it 110% and she's entertaining. And this linked up with her and Alba Fire with the possible tag match that they'll get with the winners from NXT Takeover Homecoming. Because obviously Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair are involved in their tag match on Tuesday. We don't know where that's gone. That's gone a little bit left as well. But Chelsea Green and The Miz then met, and their interactions were, again, it's epic. And if this is a duo that the WWE want to put together, I'm all for it.
No, 100%. And talk about underrated wrestlers. I've always said The Miz is underrated. He does comedy well, he does matches well, he does serious well. He relates with his male peers well, he relates with his female peers well. So I think, yeah, like you said, if you want to chuck these two together, just go for it and see where it leads.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think what this is going to lead though is this will lead to the end of the Mello Miz breakup. Obviously, Carmelo Hayes has got a United States Championship match against Sammy, who is tearing it up with this. So, as we said earlier, I think this is the breakdown, and Mello's going to turn face.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And then obviously at the end of the night, we had the return of Cody Rhodes. Now, unfortunately, I think Triple H did mess this up by announcing that Cody was going to be WrestlePalooza on the Pat McAfee show. I get why he did it, because obviously he's with Pat. Pat's an Indiana guy. Wrestling Palooza's at Indianapolis. But I just think we knew that Cody had to show up on SmackDown and where he was going to show up and what he was going to do. So obviously for people who didn't see, Drew and Randy had a match. After the match, Drew was about to Claymore Randy under the commentary table the way like he did to Cody, and then Cody come out for the save. I'm happy Cody's back, because I feel like when you're building up to things, you need your WWE champion. And I know obviously he was filming, but I feel like he has been missed. I just didn't like the fact that we knew he was returning and the way he returned.
Yeah, I think what you're skating over is a really good psychological match. The match between Randy and Drew was really good. Drew proving to be such a dastardly heel. He was almost Ric Flair-esque, going for chop blocks, doing figure fours on Randy. So it told a good story. But yeah, you knew as soon as he was going to go through that table that Cody was coming. And as you said, Cody announced that they were going to have a match. This is bad build up. As I said to you the other day, I think this is going to either end in a DQ or some really dusty finish, so that they then set up a match either in Australia or possibly War Games.
Do you think the match in Australia is going to be a triple threat? Do you think they're going to be Randy in?
Possibly, but as I said to you, I think Drew takes the belt off him. I always said that this run was always going to be a shorter run. I think Drew's going to get the belt, and he will hold it to WrestleMania, where, and I've said this to you on a number of accounts, where I think Sammy's going to win the belt.
Yeah, I think Cody keeps the belt to the Rumble, personally, but we'll see where it goes.
I think he and Drew have their rubber match at the Rumble, and I imagine that's where Randy turns on Cody.
Yeah, well, yeah, that could make sense. So that was SmackDown, and then for those who were still willing to watch more wrestling, we had Worlds Collide. I said to you during the week that Dom was going to win. I thought AJ was either going to interfere and cost Dom, or I thought we was going to have a Grande Americano interference and cause Dom to win, which we did. I'm actually quite happy for Dom because I think he deserves something. I'm just not happy with the overall show because, like I said a couple of months ago, WWE promised to leave AAA alone and let it be its own identity. But the more PLEs we have, the more WWE is becoming. Like we had the White Six turn up, and I ain't got a clue why none of them are luchadors. So why on earth are they turning up on a luchador show?
The turn-ups made probably a little bit more sense to me than some of the other matches. Yes, you were absolutely correct about Dominik Mysterio, and I said to you, there is no way AAA would have dropped the belt. Absolutely no way. Guess what? I was wrong. So I'll hold my hands up and say, yep, you were correct. What I will say is some of the matches were pretty good, but it's, as you said, it was essentially WWE versus AAA, and even one of those matches, the 5-way match for the Latin American Championship, still was 3 WWE guys versus 2 AAA guys.
Do you think with Dom winning, we know Rey Mysterio is sort of nearly on the ready to come out of come back from injury, that it's in a way setting up a Dom Rey match and Rey might become AAA champion?
Yeah. With what happened at the end of the match, I think that's almost certainly what they're building up towards. Dominik Mysterio does deserve this. He's done such a good job. His character work is great. I do think this is where we're going with it.
Yeah, and I know obviously the storyline, Rey was meant to be pissed and annoyed, but how proud Rey must have been to be able to crown his son as the AAA Luchador champion. Like, that must have been a real high moment for him.
I'm with you. Another moment I want to mention is Mr. Iguana's match with Finn Balor and Finn Balor's demon puppet. That was brilliant. I loved that. It's yet again more proof that Finn Balor can work any match you give him. He is highly underrated as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, totally agree. And I still look back to years ago when Finn got injured after winning the championship and always wonder what would have been for Finn if he had been champ. Because like you said, you can give that man anything and he can run with it.
Yeah, I almost want him to have another opportunity. I think it's going to take. I don't think he's going to get that. Not before he goes. So I think you just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Well, Tim, that was a busy week in wrestling, and we've got more to come. But we're going to try a little new segment. So, alongside Tim's top talent of the week, first of all, I'm going to ask you, what was your wrestling match of the week?
So I've mentioned it already today. Go and watch Sami Zayn versus Rey Fenix. Like the match, as I said, one of the best matches of the year. I said this on Raw Ramblings that there were some great matches. This surpassed it. Go and watch that match.
And then, of course, we'll go back to our usual. Tim, who's your top talent of the week?
It's a strange one this week. I'm actually going to go for Drew McIntyre. His work through this match, got working on it, said it reminded me very Ric Flair-esque. So this is my guy this week.
Right. Well, thank you again, Tim, so much for your time. And we look forward to more ramblings and your NXT homecoming coverage. And I will see you next week for our Wrestling Palooza review.
Have a good one.